Update. My girlfriend of almost 1 year told my son to call her mommy behind my back. Original post. I was 29 male, was married to the most amazing woman 6 years ago. We had been dating for 2 years before we got married. She got pregnant after graduating from college. We were both happy. This is what we had wanted. Our son was born, now 4. Life was awesome. 10 months after his birth, while on a trip to get some stuff for the house, her car collided with 2 others. Nothing could be done. Her ribs broke inwards. Her lungs were crushed. She died by the time the ambulance came. Life was a bitch. Suddenly, the whole world had collapsed on me. I was in shock. The therapy didn't help. The only thing that kept me going was my son. He was barely 10 months old, but he lived. I forgot about everything else in life and functioned just as a father. I didn't go out, I ignored my friends, ended my social life altogether. Still, I was proud of what I had accomplished as a single father. Sure, there were a few scares here and there, but overall it was great. My son was healthy and happy. Money was never a problem for me. It still hurt like a bee inside. I literally felt no temptation to meet anybody else. I was still recovering from it all, I guess. Then I started going out a little. My sister offered to take care of my son. She was great with him, so I felt comfortable. I got back in touch with my friends. I still retained my good physique. There wasn't much to do at home, so I'd just work out. I had started taking care of myself too. I got used a little to the female attention. After blowing off the initial 4 to 5 dates, I know it's bad, but I just couldn't go ahead with them then. I started meeting other women. I just have casual dates with these women, but I'd turn them down before anything physical happened. It took me a long time to even kiss a girl again. On this cycle, I met Natalie, 24 female fake name. She was an exceptionally beautiful girl who worked in my industry, loved that I was a single father, and sympathized with my loss. She was a great person and had an awesome personality. I found something special about her, so I stuck with her. It took us almost a month to have sex, but she was very patient with me. I had told her up front that meeting my son was not something that was happening very soon. She understood. We had a great relationship. She complained a few times about me spending a lot of time with my son and barely enough with her, but we made it work after talking about the issue. She only met my son for the first time 2 months ago. I brought her along when we were at the park. She said hi, and he just looked up and sort of laughed. He's 4, and he's able to articulate properly, at least small words and greetings, so I told him to say hello. He said that, and then the attention was back to the racket and the ball. She clearly liked him. I know she wasn't feigning interest because even when I went a bit away and was busy with something else, she was trying to play with him and interact with him a lot. That was supposed to be a happy moment, but seeing him with her reminded me of my wife, and it hurt like hell again. But I got over it. So I gradually increased their time together. We still met outside most of the time, and not that much inside. We spent the daytime at her place, and late night she would come over to mine when my son was asleep. After a point, I felt a little comfortable leaving them alone together. So this week my sister was visiting in town. My son absolutely adores her. She was his first female contact. I had to take an overnight flight to get some work stuff sorted out, so she stayed at my place. Natalie calls me in the morning and tells me that she wants to visit my son. She's been visiting him a lot, so I think it's okay. When I come back, this is what my sister worriedly tells me. Natalie came around in the morning. She spent around an hour with my son and my sister. They're good friends and get along very well. So my sister got up to make something for them and went into the kitchen, while Natalie and my son were in the living room. He was on the floor playing with his toys, I guess. As soon as my sister goes into the kitchen, Natalie picks up my son onto her lap. My sister tells me that she heard her trying to get him to call her mommy. He usually calls her by a shortened version of her name, which also makes him giggle for some reason. So he said that, and he giggled. My sister leaned to see what they were doing, and according to her, my girlfriend was saying to him, "No, not," the name that my son has for her, mommy, and repeating that again till my son said it. Then she kept on saying, "I'm your mummy." Mummy, and more like that. My sister was alarmed but didn't say anything. He's done that with her too, but she always brought up a picture of his mother to show him. So he stopped calling her that. I have always told him that the angel in the picture is mommy. It took him time, but he stopped calling anyone else mommy. I had told my girlfriend about this before, and she had agreed. I had told her that it was important to me that my son know who his real mother was. She said she understood. And now here I am, angry, frustrated, enraged, and feeling a bit betrayed. I don't know how long this has been going on. I haven't said anything about it to her. She knows I'm mad about something. We have our 1 year together completing in 20 days. I had big plans for that. Now I don't know what to do. You guys got any ideas? Edit. This is not about me moving on from my wife. This is about my son's mother, that's all. Now for the top advice before reading the update. I'm willing to bet that she thinks if you hear your son call her mommy, that you will want to marry her. I absolutely would not tolerate that type of betrayal. You need to tell her that you know, and then you need to take a break. Give her time to realize that doing this is not the way to your heart. I would agree with this. She may be in a different place than OP. And if you've never had a loss as hard to deal with as OP did, she may not get it either. Have you two talked about having more children? Because I feel like Natalie really wants to be a mom. Confront her about this and ask her why she's insistent on your son calling her mommy. She wants children, but wants to finish grad school first. I had told her very seriously about how I really want him to know who his real mother is and that there'll be no substitute for her. Not sure how I confront her about the one boundary that I was dead serious about that she ended up breaking. I know that this isn't coming across as a very serious problem to others, but this was one thing I was really scared about, and it's a terrible betrayal on her front. I'll just end up screaming my head off. I'm really angry by her doing what she did, and that too behind my back. She may not realize how serious it is for you. You've got to wonder what she thinks will happen if your son calls her mommy in front of you. She probably thinks it would be a beautiful moment. I think you should just try to have a natural discussion about your wife and bring up the importance of it to you and ask what she thinks. She knows that that was what happened with my sister. Next to me, she was the only person in his life. She took care of him when he was so young. My son had called her mommy many times, but after a lot of time, I was able to ensure that the picture of my wife is the only thing he'll relate the word mommy to. My son has his own funny version of her name that he calls Natalie and has never strayed once. I understand that it may have been a beautiful moment if he called her mommy in front of me, but only if it was natural. She's trying to get him to say that by feeding him false information. He has always called her by a shortened version of her name. Mini update. I'll talk to her about this. I don't want to break up, but I do want her to know that she has messed up colossally and that this will set back our relationship. I'll try and be delicate. Also, most replies now are negative and aggressive, so I'll hop off Reddit. So, no point posting anymore. There are other people who need your advice. Thanks for the advice you have given me. I promise I will update. Now for the first update. Hey guys, just thought I'd quickly update you on what happened between my girlfriend and me. Basically, I talked to her. She did agree that this had indeed happened, so she didn't deny it. That was a good thing. I asked her why she did it. She gave the reason that she always felt like an extra in my life. She thought that we could be closer if we tried to be a family. I explained to her, in a calm, composed manner, that we can't just pretend to be a family, and that her trying to make a permanent bond with my 4-year-old son, whom she'd known only for 2 months, wasn't quite the way to do it. She cried and apologized. Nevertheless, this was a huge setback in our relationship. It's difficult to look at things the same way after what happened. Our big anniversary surprise is canceled. I'll make up for it sometime later. We are still dating, but she isn't going to meet my son anytime soon. This means that we'd be spending fewer nights together, but she understood. I'm also going to see a child therapist to get this mommy thing sorted out once and for all so that my son isn't emotionally affected. Just want to say this is probably one of the only posts I've seen on here where you actually try your hardest to put your son first while dating. Almost every post here has people living together with kids after 6 months, having boyfriend/girlfriend involved with their kids from day one, and they met early and fell in love, etc. You waited almost a year into a serious relationship to even introduce your kid, which is more than most people can say. What she did was messed up, but you're handling it well. Good luck with the child psychologist. As someone affected by their parent entering a relationship without regard for their kid, I fought with the guy constantly to the point where I just ended up sitting on my computer in my bedroom all the time during my early teenage years. Thank you for pointing this out. This stuff can cause a lot of issues for a child, especially one too young to know what's going on. Glad to hear she realized it was wrong. But are you sure you guys are a good match right now? She seems awfully desperate for something more, which you don't sound like you're looking for yet. I know everyone seems to be suggesting that I break up with her, but I love her. She crossed a big line that she was not supposed to, behind my back. I can't ignore that. I know she wants more, and I am trying my hardest, but it is difficult when I have a son. She hopefully understands that. Yeah, she might think that I am too much to handle for her, and she might break up with me. I can't prevent that. But if she doesn't, she's a keeper. Call it naivete, but I think the reason she gave for doing what she did checked out. It corresponded with a lot of things she had said earlier. But she needs to understand that we can only be a family when we are truly a family, aka marriage. So that'll have to wait. Right now, trust is the important thing that needs attention. If I can get that back, I don't think we'll have many problems. I am not going to break up with her. Had she denied what she did for 1 second, I would have walked out of there and never looked back. But she accepted her mistake and was ready to face the consequences, a little time away from my son. That's one positive thing at least. For what it's worth, I feel you made the right decision in every aspect of this situation. You handled it with an impressive amount of respect for your son and your girlfriend while keeping your priority on your son. A lot of fathers make that mistake and try to fix the family by finding a new wife for their child to call mommy. I know mine did. It was one of the very few mistakes he made as a father, but it was made with the best intentions. I am glad you didn't make that mistake, and I am glad you are taking your son to a counselor to make sure that mommy imprint isn't going to cause any long-term damage. From what I have read, you sound like an excellent father. Yeah, that's the sucky part of it. I married so young. I lost my wife when I was so young. All I have been since then is a father. I don't know if I'm a good boyfriend or not. Agreed, my son comes first, but still I'm always trying to be a better boyfriend. Second update. I know all of you guys would be expecting a wonderful update with all of us becoming one big happy family. Sorry, but I got B-slapped by life. Since a couple of weeks ago, she kept pushing me again and again over visiting my son. I told her no firmly, but she kept on being passive-aggressive. All I wanted was a little more time, but she pushed me to the limit. She said that my son was missing her, he was not, and that I was doing him a disservice by keeping her out of his life, and that I was a horrible parent and I couldn't raise my son alone. We had a big fight over it, and we broke up. She broke down and crawled back and apologized, but things were never going to be the same. Life freaking sucks. You did the right thing, man. She sounds like she has some issues. Stay strong and don't let her back into your life. This is something I knew I would do if I were not a parent. I know it would be the incorrect thing to do, going back to an ex after they did something horrible, but I'd still lose my spine and take her back. Now that I have my son to think about, no, nada, never gonna happen. I mean, it freaking sucks, this entire thing, but I will absolutely go no contact. You gotta keep in mind that 24 is still very young. Unlike our parents' time when they gained independence at 18, many of our generation don't even fully finish school until we are 22. This leads to a very sheltered and idealistic life. We see white picket fences and kids as accessories to life. What life really is bills and responsibilities, kids being the biggest of all. They aren't there to entertain us or enrich our lives. What we gain from children is purely based on what we bring to children and the satisfaction of seeing our children succeed. From all your posts, it's clear that your girlfriend, while great for a single guy, is just too young for you. Your emotional maturity is at least a decade ahead of her. You are 100% right. As I said, I do not resent her for this. I do not think she is crazy. I, however, do not think that she is right for me, nor am I right for her. Third update 1 year later. Hello everyone. Almost a year ago, I came here to talk about my life going upside down. I lost a great girlfriend, someone I thought I could finally trust and allow into my son's life. That did not go well. Anyway, that time of my life was very difficult, but I really got some great perspective from the people on here, so I just wanted to thank you all once again. I feel like I'm in a really good position in my life right now, and everything feels awesome. I've put all the pieces together and my son and I are really happy. He's doing great and is healthy. So yeah, this was more of a thank you rather than an update, but I really mean it. I was really confused, and some of the advice I got on here was instrumental in sorting that mess out. Thanks, Reddit. Take care. Last story. I'm headed for divorce, but my lawyer has given me the best news ever. My husband, soon-to-be ex-husband 39 male, has been cheating on me 38 female, and he wants her instead of me. I'm probably naive because I didn't see this coming at all. I was researching vacation options for our 10th anniversary next year, and meanwhile he was running around with another woman. She's either 25 or 27. I can't remember which. I never thought heartbreak like this was real, but he broke my heart. I've known people who have gotten a divorce, and you have to live separately for a year before you can get a divorce. But I wanted to be prepared, so I made an appointment with a lawyer now. It was probably the best thing I've ever done. She told me that in our state, alimony is forbidden if there is adultery. Since my husband cheated, I won't have to pay alimony. I was prepared that I would have to pay out the nose, but I have proof that he cheated, that he gave me himself, so I won't have to pay him. This was the best news I could have gotten. Also, the living separately for a year only applies to no-fault divorces in my state. Since I have proof he cheated, my lawyer went ahead and filed on my behalf based on adultery. Technically, my husband and I still live together. Our lease expires on the 31st, and the countdown on our separation was supposed to start November 1st. I wish I could be there to see his face when 1. He gets served with notice that I've filed, and 2. He finds out he won't get alimony because he cheated. He wanted a no-fault divorce, and I know he was counting on getting alimony. It was the best news I could have gotten. I don't even have words for how amazing I feel. As a middle-aged woman who went through divorce a few years ago, I can tell you the pain will pass. And a year from now, you'll realize this, the divorce, was the best thing in the world. I hope your future is full of laughter and love and reconnecting with yourself. Take time to grieve, of course, and probably find a good therapist, LOL. But you will be so much better off, and I wish every ounce of happiness and success for you in this next phase of your life. Yes, when I think of my previous marriage, it's foggy like a dream. Bring on your new life chapter, OP.